Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, May 17th, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. We'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. What you're going to see here is that the futures are trading higher today by about 5.5 points. So, again, no real panic in the no real panic in this market, considering yesterday's little sell-off. Yesterday, the S&P did finish down about a little bit over 8 points by the end of the trading day. But today, market's up 5.5 points before the opening bell. The European markets are all trading higher. There is some news out here that the Fed is going to talk about an exit strategy today. How true or what they're going to say is really not known. But one thing we will say is that they do have a sizable POMO in effect today. So really backstopping any declines on a weekend. Rarely do we see a down Friday. If the markets are lower on Friday, they're very slightly lower, I should say. There hasn't been a real big sell-off in a Friday in quite some time. Also, the markets generally will finish flat to slightly positive and usually get a late-day surge in the final 30 minutes of the trading day. So we'll see how this all plays out by the close. But right now, there don't seem to be any real problems with the market ahead of the opening bell, as far as I can see at the moment. We will have some news out today around 9:55 or 10 o'clock, I believe. Consumer sentiment for the month of May will be released. I think that's the only news that we're going to see today. I don't believe we have any other news events taking place during the trading day, so we'll see how that plays out. In Europe today, you do have the markets all trading higher. The the German DAX is up about 1/4%. Everything else is pretty much in line with that. The London FTSE 100, which is England, they can print their own money. They're up about 0.3% at the moment. So slightly higher open, or a slightly higher move, I should say, in Europe. They've opened much earlier than us. But a slightly higher move in Europe, no real problems. And when we look over to Asia last night, the Nikkei was up about 0.7%. The Shanghai index was the big winner last night, up 1.4%. So that was a pretty sizable move. Chinese ADRs could be in play today. It looks like the Chinese government is saying that they're going to get out of the way and they're going to let the investment projects, including airports, gas fields, things of that nature, they're not going to need to be pre-approved by the Economic Planning Agency. So again, the Shanghai market is getting a little bit of a boost before the opening bell. I don't know how much we could make out of that, but nonetheless, the Chinese market did finish higher. Anytime we see that, we always want to take a little glimpse at the Chinese ADRs to say, hey, maybe these stocks could be in play today. But we'll see how that all plays out going forward. So traders should watch the Chinese stocks today. Gold this morning is trading down about $12. Gold is getting hit a little bit. Once again, the stronger dollar is hurting gold, and you can see the dollar today really a big move above the 84.25 level, and that just tells you that the euro has come down, and also the Japanese yen is also coming down. So the dollar is stronger against both the euro and the Japanese yen, and that's really the reason for the stronger dollar, is that you have Japan just printing money like it's going out of style, and then you have Europe, the European markets. Their currency is very weak. After all, they did lower rates in Europe about a month ago. Looking at a few stocks out here making news today, we have a few gap plays I will have for the chat room. Yesterday, we did hit Cisco Systems for a nice winning trade, and that's always a positive, and hopefully we'll be able to isolate a couple more gap plays today. I have 2 done already, and I'll have hopefully 1 or 2 more posted by 9 a.m. So anybody looking for the gap plays in the morning, they'll be posted up in the chat room, the In the Money Stocks chat room at 9 a.m. So if you want to come over and take a peek at those, come on by, and we'll be happy to show you that. A few stocks in the news that I was mentioning. Today you have J.C. Penney's. Looks like they came out with earnings. Really a non-event from what I can tell at the moment. Stock's a little bit lower from where it closed. It closed at $18.79. So we'll see if J.C. Penney's pulls back. I suspect it could pull back a little bit more here, but I don't know if that earnings news was really unsuspected. I think the market kind of knew about it, and it was a total disappointment. You have Dell Computer, which was another disaster, but this has a takeover premium built into it now, since they are trying to, the company is trying to go private. So Dell Computer is another one here that, even though the earnings were terrible, it gets a free pass because of the takeover. So there's really no play on those two particular names, from what I can tell at the moment. So you got to watch that going forward. There's a lot of upgrades and downgrades today. I think Goldman Sachs downgraded Deere and Company. So Deere could be under a little bit of pressure, but it had a pretty big sell-off yesterday. So Deere will get to an attractive level. I'll put out a buy signal on that, but it's just not there yet. And today you did get the big downgrade by Goldman Sachs. And then you have Autodesk is another one making news. Looks like they reported earnings. They missed estimates as well. So one of the many companies that just cannot meet earnings. But will it really matter in this quantitative easing environment? Does it really make a difference? That's the big question. And then we have Nordstrom. Nordstrom is another one reporting earnings. They missed also a pretty wide margin by 3 cents. So another stock that missed earnings. You can just see the list here is just getting larger and larger about all of these stocks that miss earnings. Nordstrom generally will miss earnings and then sell off and go right back up. So we'll have to watch for that. Hopefully I'll be able to isolate a gap level on that one. I just haven't completed the work on that one yet. But I will have that posted around 9 o'clock if there is a play there. So we'll see how that plays out. And it looks like General Motors was upgraded today as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, this market is higher each and every day. Quantitative easing and money printing from all the central banks. That's the Federal Reserve anymore. It's all the central banks. So I guess that levels the playing field a little bit. But any way you slice it or dice it, it really, one day is going to come to roost. But that could be down the road a bit more. Right now the markets continue their melt up, continue to grind higher, and they're up 5.25 points before the opening bell. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, a little economic news at 10 o'clock. I don't know if that we can make much out of it, if that's going to be a big deal. Generally on Fridays, the volume will get light right after the lunch hour, and market usually goes into float mode, and we'll see how that plays out. I believe there is that IRS chief is going to testify today in front of Congress or on Capitol Hill. We'll see if that does disturb the market. So far, the markets really haven't put much stock or weight into it. But you have so many scandals and spying scandals going on. If it's not the Bloomberg terminal, it's this deal with the IRS, and then you have the J.P. Morgan CEO losing his power potentially. So there's a lot going on there. I doubt anything will come of it, but we'll see how it all plays out and shakes out into the end of the day. With that said, everybody, I want to wish you all a great trading day, great weekend, and I'll see you all on the charts in a little while. Take care now.